Yo, 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 YouTube. Today we've got another juicy one, and of course, we're going to ring it out. Today we're going to talk about why the mythic tradition still applies today and why you need to live your life like a hero. My life drastically improved when I began to effectively see myself as a hero and try and bridge that gap between current me and heroic me. I want to share my learnings with you today, and hopefully it can change your life too. We all have an image of the heroic person we could be and often size it up to the person we are. Our heroic person has all the qualities we wish for and is to some extent the perfect person we could be. They're disciplined, strong and respected. For me, it all started a few years ago with the Odyssey and its two main characters, Odysseus and Telemachus. And not long after, I came across Joseph Campbell's book, A Hero of a Thousand Faces. I think I'm quoting that right. A Hero with a Thousand Faces. And Ray Dalio, the successful investor, and George Lucas, the creator of Star Wars, both talk of Joseph Campbell's book having a profound effect on them and ultimately their wonderfully successful careers. So I recommend that you read both of these books. The Odyssey by Homer to learn about the mythical version of a hero, but then Joseph Campbell's The Hero with a Thousand Faces, because you will learn that heroes are not limited to the mythical idea of Achilles or Agamemnon or Odysseus. They are found in everyday life too, and they're very real. They're the single mothers that work their socks off, or that teacher that leaves you in awe of their knowledge and hard work, or even that selfless person that you come across that just touches you with their selfless ethos in life. Whoever it is, they are not fiction, and they are the people that you so often brush shoulders with. In our dog-eat-dog society of self-interested individuals, the values embodied in heroes and the arc of their journey, I will try and show you a simple exercise in which you can aspire to be the hero of your dreams that our modern society so desperately needs. Let's get into it. So I won't give away any spoilers, but I'm gonna give a brief outline of the Odyssey. It's a poem written by Homer in around 700 BC. It's called a poem because they had an oral tradition of telling stories. This is in part tradition, but also probably because they didn't have the printing technology in order to mass produce copies of books for many individuals to have. So the book starts with Athene discussing with the other gods the woes of Odysseus and Telemachus. We learn that Odysseus has attempted to return from Troy after the battle, and after pissing off Poseidon, he's been postponed 7 years and has had to face setbacks, losses and suffering. During Odysseus' absence, the kingdom of Ithaca, his kingdom, has decided prematurely that he has died, and 120 thirsty-ass suitors have decided to court his wife Penelope. There is also a son, his son Telemachus, who is in the household, and since not growing up with his resourceful father, he's not the hero that we'd expect him to be, although he does possess some of the qualities expected of a hero of that time, such as Xenia. So before I continue with the brilliance of the Odyssey, I want to introduce Joseph Campbell's book, The Hero with a Thousand Faces. This book is a compilation of the comprehensive work of Joseph Campbell, condensed into ideas, anecdotes and theories from mythic and religious traditions from varying cultures. Campbell is likely the most well-regarded author in respect of heroes and their relationship in today's modern world. He notices that heroes are not limited to the fictional ideas of Achilles or Agamemnon, and in our less survival-based society are found in the likes of bin men, teachers and waiters and baristas. Campbell's idea is centered around the hero's journey. He details 12 stages to the hero's journey. The first 2 or 3 are: we first meet the hero, the individual, and are usually quite underwhelmed. and he is met with a call to adventure, often resisting and refusing to leave the comfort of his world. The next few stages are, after dealing with doubts and other influences, he either has an experience or meets a mentor which coerces him to undertake his call to adventure and cross the threshold. Soon after that, he is met with trials, suffering, temptations, and enemies. These are all a test of the hero's character, but they will always forge his or her indefatigability. I should be careful using that word. After the trials, the hero will face their biggest challenge yet, and upon overcoming this, the ultimate reward will transpire. And now is the time for their return, but this will not simply be geographical. He might be met with physical challenges or an inner crisis. The world he knew is perhaps no longer where he wants to go. However, upon return, the physical journey is over, and so has the hero's personal journey of character. Now, I decided to insert Campbell's work there and the idea of a hero's journey succeeding the introduction and ultimate disappointment we are met with Telemachus, because it displays the sporadic progression of a hero on their journey. The brilliance of the Odyssey is that we meet two heroes at different points in their journey. When we meet Telemachus, Athene has given him a call to adventure, which is quite obvious, murk off all the suitors. But because he has not had the traditional upbringing of a hero, he does not have the confidence in order to undertake this adventure. Whereas when we learn of Odysseus, he is on the return from his heroic journey. He's anything anybody could ever imagine about a hero. Odysseus is rejecting a beautiful goddess, offering him eternal life, as he wants to fulfill his duty of returning to his homeland, seeing his wife, his child, his extended family, and serving the duties of his kingdom. He is also tired of lounging around, eating grapes, drinking wine, and having sex with a beautiful goddess. Total legend. Despite his legendary heroic status, it's quite shocking when we first meet Odysseus. He's been washed up on the shores of the Phaeacians and is crying. Yes, crying. See, the great thing about Greek heroes is that they have faults, and that's what's important about them. They are characterized as much by their faults as by their qualities. Achilles had rage, Agamemnon had pride, and Odysseus, for all his faults, clearly had poor emotional control. As such, the Odyssey is a wonderful poem because it presents two heroes at different points in the arc of a hero's journey in which a younger and older audience can relate to. If you're a young man, you can likely see Telemachus in yourself, but wish one day to be like Odysseus. And on the other hand, if you're an older man, having lived a life of struggles and challenges, but remaining pious to your duties throughout, you can likely relate to Odysseus. Those two books had a fundamental influence on me when they came into my life during my heroic journey. The Odyssey landed on my lap when I was redoing my A-levels. Project A-Level Resurrection was my call to adventure. I had my doubts because I'd never really achieved academically, and I had other plans that were perhaps more tempting. However, my uncle, my mentor, guided me and presented me an objective view of the options. I crossed the threshold and I was met with temptations, enemies, women, and inner conflictions. I had my biggest trial yet, the exams. I went to battle with confidence, and not knowingly leaving victorious, I was unsure about whether I wanted to cross back over the threshold into a life, the legitimate one, that required an education. My results were the spoils of war that I could have never expected. It gave me the confidence that I was capable of academic attainment and a life filled with heroic journeys that I did not know possible before. And so I urge you to read these classic books, if not for learning about the hero and the arc of a hero's journey, for its timeless contribution to literacy throughout time to the modern day. So this next point that I want to discuss is why society requires you to live like a hero. As you might be all aware, we live in a terrible society of consumerism, slavery, degeneracy and liberals. All round really horrendous stuff, especially the last one. There seems to be more things that are wrong with society than there are good. We have increasing suicide rates, obesity rates, more divorces, increased loneliness, and the list goes on. This does not mean that you have to live your life in this balance. In order for you to rise above the terribleness that might be surrounding your life, you need to adopt the qualities of a hero: courage, wisdom, moderation, duty. As Michael Jackson said, if you want to make the world a better place, you have to look in that mirror and make that change. If you suspect that there are things wrong in your life and you perhaps don't have the emotional capacity or maturity to confront this, then ultimately you need to be courageous. Sorting your issues does not stop at simply acknowledging them, but begins when you take action in sorting them. If this isn't the case, and perhaps you've done all that you can do for now, but your family or your peers or your neighbours require you, then you must be dutiful and help those selflessly. Offer your seat to somebody in greater need. Pick up that litter that isn't yours. Send that fatso your workouts, your horse workouts, in order to get them in better shape. Actively help your community. If you're a man, it can seem that society wants you to be an emotional, obedient little bitch. Wrong. Maybe for the weak bitches who don't have self-esteem and see themselves as never amounting to anything more than the Prince Harrys or King Edward VIII of this world. You must resist this and become a hero. You will soon learn that upon the pursuit of such an endeavour, the message put forward by society for men is total bollocks. If governed by the qualities and values of a hero, society would be a much more morally honourable place to live in. I will now explain perhaps the practical side of trying to become a hero. As mentioned earlier, we all have this person that we wish to be, a slight dissatisfaction with our inadequacies that we'd like to reconcile with great health, respect, strength, and perhaps some material things. In order to become the heroic version of yourself, you must ask yourself if there are any incongruencies of the person you wish to be and the person that you are. Does heroic Jacob smoke, eat unhealthily, take a week to do the things that he needs to be done? What does Jacob do that heroic Jacob does or doesn't do? This does not need to be said, but perhaps for some of our more special viewers, please replace my name with your name. Heroic Jacob, for me, is courageous, brave, disciplined, and strong. He also has a rocking bod and bare cashmula. Obviously, that's very personal, but if you can't be personal with yourself about what you truly want and wish to be, and especially if you can't in private, you are going to have a rough life ahead. For some more practical advice about how to perhaps become a hero, I say ask yourself this: does heroic me bitch about going to the gym, or does he do it irrespective of how he feels? Does he get a bit nervous and hesitant about approaching that woman, or does he say fuck it because I don't give a shit? Soon enough, you won't be fickle about going to the gym, rocking up to that chica, or whatever it is. You go after the things you want. Once you adopt this heroic view of yourself and the evidence stacks up, the incongruency will fade and you will become the hero of your imagination. I hope today's video has given you insight into why you need to view and live your life as if you're a hero. And if not for yourself, do it for the duty and service for society itself. Perhaps you already conduct yourself in a noble fashion, but this puts theory and motivation behind why you need to continue doing so. And if not, using the exercises that I've perhaps helpfully provided, you need to bridge that gap between you and heroic you. I also implore you to read those books and learn about the arc of the hero. You might not only become more receptive to the calls for adventure, but also, as we discussed earlier in this video, that heroes can be found amongst the likes of everyday people. You too might already be on a heroic journey. And now to wrap it up, thank you for listening. And even if it means returning looking like a beggar, good luck on your journey.